So here's my question for you.
Yeah.
If you have your mom here for support, then why were you homeless? Because you're saying that you can live with your mom. I mean, could you not have lived with your mother before?
I didn't want to follow rules and regulations that her established.
All right, what rules and regulations did you not want to follow?
In the American justice system, criminal defense often relies on painting the defendant as a helpless victim of tragic circumstances. But what happens when a judge digs beneath a heartbreaking story and uncovers a shocking sense of entitlement? In this hearing, a seemingly desperate case of a homeless woman burning stolen mail to stay warm takes a bizarre turn. Pay close attention to the moment the judge stops the standard plea proceedings to ask one simple question about the defendant's living situation and the jaw-dropping admission that completely changes the dynamic of the courtroom.
All right, court is calling 2026 CR 005390 State versus Charlotte Smith. Can I have parties announced?
Brandon Prater for the state.
John Young for the defense.
And are you Ms. Smith?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Counsel, you received all discovery. Did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Smith, did you review the application for community supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Judge waiving the punishment enhancement, but otherwise proceeding is charged.
Any objections to the waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all of the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're charged with theft of mail less than 30 addresses. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay. That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in the prison and up to $10,000 fine. If you have a plea, the court does not have to follow your plea. If the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses. The state would call in the right to remain silent. By entering this plea, you're giving up those rights. Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
She has, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe she is.
Ms. Smith, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
They have not.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
If you're not a U.S. citizen by entering this plea, you will be deported, denied naturalization, and re-entry. Did you understand?
Yes, I do.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 4 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine to be probated, and the state recommends community supervision. Did you understand that to be your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense,
Yes, Your Honor.
state.
That is a plea, Judge.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
By signing that, you're waiving your right to appeal. The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand
Yes, ma'am.
any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 4 years, 100 hours community service restitution, TAP evaluation, the felony theft course, and MRT. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
Judge, we offer you state exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, state, you may be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Did you review the waiver and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and signing in all the appropriate places?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses? The state would call in the right to remain silent.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, I do.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, her statement to the police at that time was that she admitted stealing the mail. There was, at 702 East Euclid, there's a very nice little cottage there. And it has a really outsized mailbox. It's like cast iron, black. And it's rectangular. It's about 14 inches wide and about 18 inches high. And when I went by there 3 weeks ago, there was mail tumbling out of the mail slot again, she said there was then, and as the police officer says there was then. Apparently, it had been abandoned for some time and it was unoccupied. I don't honestly know why it still looks so nice, but it clearly was abandoned. There were people's mail. More than 25 people were listed as the occupants of that house. She said at the time to the officer, and has told me since then, that she was living in a tent under the bridge nearby at I think it's Crockett, I'm not sure, and 35. And she had a little brass pot that she'd get this mail and she'd burn it to keep warm, because it was 18 January when this all happened. So I don't know that they'd be able to prove that she took the mail with the intent to harm somebody. The police report also said that most of these things were unsolicited advertisements that were being sent to people. So it was, she has significant history, and I'm sure that's why the prosecution was not willing to give her deferred adjudication. And I believe that it's probably in her best interest to take the probation in this case.
All right, in the stipulation, it says that you told the officers that your mom used to reside at one of the apartments and you were just checking the mailbox.
True enough. Yes, ma'am. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't want to get in no trouble, but I didn't mean to lie, but I eventually told him the truth, which I didn't lie about me burning the mail. But, he probably red-handed. And when he asked me, I just told him that was the first thing that popped in my head. But I told him the truth about me burning the mail because it was getting cold that night and it was going to drop below 0. So in the bridge where the house stands on the corner, and then it's the plasma place where they where people do surgery, and right there at the edge, it's where the bridge where I jumped the meteor and go to my little tent.
So do you have any family support?
Yes, I do. I have my mother. My mother was here earlier today. I can go out and live with her. I have very good support, a job. She has a job waiting for me. And then I have a friend on the outside. Her name is McPherce. She told me if I can apply at the Bill Miller's, I can get a job up there or do home.
So here's my question for you.
Yeah.
If you have your mom here for support, then why were you homeless? Because you're saying that you can live with your mom. I mean, could you not have lived with your mother before?
I didn't want to follow rules and regulations that her established.
All right, what rules and regulations did you not want to
She
follow?
lives in the senior center. Your Honor.
A senior citizen home.
Okay, so what rules did you not want to follow?
It's between me and my mother, I have a cleaning up problem and I stay too long in the bathroom, and we tend to bicker and fight, but in my time being incarcerated, we've learned to communicate and talk over things better. So I told her, I asked her, well, if she should give me a chance to come home to her and I'll do right. And she said, well, if you do right, I'll let you come home. And during this time, I've been doing everything that she's asked of, even though I'm confined.
So how did you end up homeless? And I'm asking, and let me just tell you, the reason why I'm asking these questions is because I'm trying to figure out what conditions of probation will help you. I don't do cookie cutter conditions of probation. Because part of the thing, if I'm accepting this plea, which I'll accept the plea, is I need to figure out what conditions you need to be rehabilitated. So I need to figure out, how did you get into,
My medication, honestly, I have mental health problems and I
Okay.
need more counseling with that. And I need to constantly be on my medications, honestly.
and what is your diagnosis?
My diagnosis is bipolar with explosive disorder
Okay.
and schizophrenia and split personality.
Okay. All right.
So if I can have, I'm asking help on this part, if I can have like maybe a counselor and ICHCS
Mhm.
help me with the medication, that'd be great.
So do they have you on medication at the jail?
Yes, ma'am, they do.
Okay.
The lady told me, she told me if I did go home, the nurse that comes there, she said if I go home, if I do get released, I can go to the Brady Green, and the Brady Green would give me 2 weeks to a month supply of medication.
Okay. All right. And is there anything else going on in your life that you think I should know to help you?
Municipal court, I have traffic tickets.
That's the one thing I can't help you with, but I'm sure your attorney may be able to give you recommendations on that. And usually, yes, and usually if you're in some type of program, they'll usually help you with that.
Okay.
All right. So anything else other than traffic tickets?
If you got a GED program that's free, I would love to hear about that.
Okay, awesome. You're not in a position right now to help others. You got to help yourself first. You know how whenever you're on a plane, and they always tell you, if the oxygen mask drops, even if you have an infant sitting next to you, your children, you love them with all your heart, you cannot put the mask on them first, because if you do, you're probably going to pass out or something may happen. So we've got to heal you first, and then you can heal your mom. Okay? And they'll still let you have contact with your mom and everything. Okay?
Okay.
It's just, this is programming the anything. Candidly, it is something rather intrusive. They're gonna get into your heads. They're gonna want to try and help you break the bonds that have almost forced you into running a street fight. They're gonna try and fix all that, but it's gonna be real intrusive. They're gonna get into your head. You're gonna want to know everything, and they're gonna try and help. But then also a bunch of do-gooders that are sure that they're doing it the right way, and they're gonna make you cooperate.
Okay, so I have to go with their court first.
Yeah, what's going to happen is I'm going to place you on probation. I'm going to set certain conditions for your probation. However, if they accept you into the program, my conditions, they may say, no, this is not appropriate for her, and they may do something different. But whatever they do, it's going to be for your benefit.
Okay.
Okay? And then if you successfully complete everything over there, normally they will terminate you early, which would mean you'll be off probation early. You just have to follow their rules, okay? All right.
It's gonna be in your best interest. But you may or may not want to do it. You have to tell her. Gotta be a big girl. Tell her if you don't think you want to do this. If you just want to go on probation, she'll put you on probation. She's telling you.
And what I can tell you, if a motion to revoke is filed, then I may not be the judge that hears that motion. It will be another judge that would hear that.
She says she lost her job in the last one.
Yeah.
And she's not.
So I'm not going to be your judge.
So she's not gonna be here. Somebody else will be. That's not your problem. The
Mhm.
problem right now is, do you want to voluntarily go into this Franza court,
Or just take my little
or
probation.
just go on her probation?
I just take my probation.
I'm sorry.
I have to take your probation.
Does she want regular? Here's the thing. At the end of the day, when I give you probation, if a motion to revoke is filed against you, and if that motion to revoke is not heard before January 1st, I will not be the person hearing it. That's what I'm telling you.
That's if you do a slip and fall and are unsuccessful on probation.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
So that's okay. So here's my question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to go to Esperanza Court or not?
Give me a lot.
Okay,
I'll take preparation.
all right. It's gonna be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, $1,000 fine, probated. Proof of employment within 45 days of release, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There is gonna be a MIC evaluation. Probation, does that need to be in custody or out of custody? Okay. So a MIC evaluation out of custody and a TAP evaluation out of custody follow recs. There needs to be a referral to Center for Healthcare Services. 200 hours of community service restitution. There'll be a 50-hour deduction for completion of MRT. Another 50 hours for completion of the felony theft course. Do you have any children?
Yes, I do.
And what are their ages?
13 to 14 this year.
All right, and do you have contact with her?
On his stipulations.
All right, another 50 hours will be deducted for completion of parenting classes. And the remaining 50 hours will be deducted upon completion of the GED or some type of trade school certification. The court will sentence you to 4 years in prison, suspended and probated for 4 years. Probation, is there anything else? Field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. Is there anything else?
Okay.
Anything else you need from the court to be successful? All right. Do you need anything else?
No, you set me straight.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The court decided to sentence Charlotte Smith to 4 years in prison, but instead of serving time, she was placed on 4 years of intensive, closely monitored probation. The judge opted against a one-size-fits-all punishment, understanding that Charlotte's significant mental health challenges called for specialized and thorough treatment rather than just basic oversight. This case highlights a judge who skillfully balanced genuine compassion with firm accountability. While the court was ready to offer transformative resources, it made it abundantly clear: personal struggles and mental health issues do not excuse harming others.